it's me. I was wondering, can we be friends after voting? Election day is tomorrow, and it might be the beginning of a apocalypse in the US of A. No matter who wins, we gotta kill everyone who eats boneless wings that day, because they're terrible people. Stop eating boneless wings, you fucking sheeple. Ladies and gentlemen, ye fucking ha. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to Monday, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming at you hot. Had a week off from the podcast. Not gonna lie. Your boy felt what's the word I'm fucking looking for? Guilty that I didn't put out a podcast. Because you know what your boy's all about? Consistency. On the grind. Hashtag Gary V. You know? I think I put one out Monday, and then I took a week off. Your boy said, we're done. I was going to record a special Thursday episode because I got back Thursday from Texas. But I said, nah, we're going to take the whole week. Recenter our brain. Let us wrap around some ideas. That's what your boy's got to do a little bit, okay? I got to let things marinate for a minute before I get on here and start talking this bullshit again, you know? I got to bring you that A1 sauce. I'm talking about barbecue, ladies and gentlemen. Barbecue bars. Got back from Texas. Yeehaw, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is going to make some people sad. It makes me sad too. Going to be moving to Texas. It's set in stone, okay? Your boy was out there looking at houses and everything. Crazy to say that. Going from living in California, renting, to trying to buy a place in Texas. Just to spread my feathers a little bit. Spread my wings, kind of peacock out a little bit. Yeah, and that's a fucking peacock sound. Quality of life, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you all to pursue it. All right, we had a stroke. A few minutes in, we're feeling good. Strokes already. We're back to normal. But I urge you to pursue life, liberty, and freedom, in the pursuit of happiness, you know, and quality of life. And that's what it's all about, baby. At the end of the day, it's all about quality of life. And while I'm very excited to start a new chapter, you know, me and my girl and my dog, we're going to be starting a new chapter. There is sad sides to it, you know. I have family here. You know, I'm venturing out on my own. I have family still here in California. That's where mainly everyone is. But sometimes you got to spread your wings. And you got to hashtag Christopher Columbus it without all the bad shit. Listen, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm allowed to make Christopher Columbus jokes. But sometimes you just got to hit that old dusty trail and set off. And I'm going on an adventure, you know. It's important. If you're younger, always go for the riskier choice. You know I got a few 18-year-olds listen to us. I look at the demographics. I look at the demos, make sure I know who I'm talking to, okay? If I looked and I saw my demo was all 70 up, I'm only talking about applesauce. Crisscross applesauce bars, okay? We're talking about prune juice, applesauce, best oatmeal, what has the most fiber, but it's not my demo. My demo is a lot of 18 to 35-year-olds, okay? And if you're young like that, you got to travel. You got to do some wild shit. You got to flip it on these motherfuckers every now and then. You got to say, you know what, fuck it, I am moving out of here. Get out of your hometown. Not that your hometown is bad. Just get out of there. Go explore. Get a different perspective. Get your peepers on a different way to live life, okay? And you grow from it. You always grow from it. Sometimes you'll get there. And here's the thing. A lot of people, they want to talk you out of it because they're trying to be rational. They're trying to protect you. Some people, I got like crackling in my headphones. I hope it's just on that. Sounds like the fucking intro to 8 Mile right now. Anyway, some people try to stop you from taking these risky choices like moving across the country, moving to a different part of the world. It's usually family. But sometimes they support you. And a lot of times when they try to stop you from doing those things, it's either they want you to be around for them, they're scared, They don't see it for themselves, so they don't know how to handle it. They can't see your vision. But it's important. It's going to make you grow. It's going to make you grow as an individual. And that's what I'm doing. Your boy has always kind of been a rolling stone, but it gets harder as you get older. And it's like you just got to follow the quality of life, But yeah, just looking at affordability and everything like that out there and opportunity. What's interesting is stand-up comedy is a big portion of why I'm moving. Opportunity and opportunities to grow. And there's actually so many clubs where I'm going to be moving to outside of Dallas. So Arlington Improv, Fort Worth Improv, Hyenas Comedy Club, tons of spots to work out material. The Addison Improv. Texas is centrally located. I could always just, I made the road trip out to Austin. Felt like LA. There's going to be a huge comedy scene out there. A lot of comedians are moving. And I love that Texas is centrally located. It's the center of the country. And I could fly a few hours anywhere in the U.S. That means there's a lot of road gigs, opportunities out there that won't be too hard. And just, your boy can actually buy some land, start putting into action some of these visions that I've had throughout the years. And sometimes you just got to say, fuck it. And rip, flip it on these motherfuckers. All right? Bars. Flip, bars. And yeah, like I was saying, it is sad sometimes. I am bummed out. There's good and bad things because, I've made some great friends here in Ventura. I really have. Some lifelong friends. Y'all know who you are. That I'm going to miss and always keep in contact with. That's the thing about the pandemic is it's kind of slowed down everything to the point where you don't really, I don't really see too many people locally. And that's a bummer. I'll meet up with them every now and then, do a little socially distanced conversation. But I don't see that many people right now anyway. But like the gym, 10 Planet Ventura, my brother in arms, I'm going to miss the shit out of them. I feel like this is a breakup podcast right now. But, it is what it is. And I'm going to treasure those friendships all the time. The talented comedians I've met, talented singer-songwriters I've met. Just great people. There's some great people here. And just in California in general. And that's the thing is I've been close to LA. But I'll be honest with you. Your boy didn't vibe well with LA comics at the tier that I am. I do like the comics that came from other places to LA. The ones that are established. You have all the big comics at the Comedy Store and everything like that. I love them. But then there's a lower level of comedians that it's very competitive and very cliquey. And that's kind of comedy in general. There's cliques. But I don't like the vibe of Hollywood in LA. I've kind of always been an outsider of it. And I don't like there's actors who want to be comedians. So then they are comedians now and they're doing sets just to be able to put on their resume that they're a comedic actor. They're a stand-up comedian, stuff like that. You have people with, I think in LA in general, if I'm being real about it, it attracts a certain level of mental illness. And, and this is something that I study with myself, is where does the urge come from to do something in entertainment, to do something like stand-up comedy? To be honest with you, what makes my willy tingle about comedy, and I'll get back to the point I was making, is the idea of problem solving, of creating these bits, of figuring out where they can go, the premise, the setup, the misdirection, all this stuff, the big build up to the punchline, handling the waves of a live situation. I'm fascinated by it. I love it, the art form. But when I start saying mental illness, it's like, who is drawn to do something in entertainment? Who needs that? I like to think that I'm not someone who's like, I need all this validation. But there's an undeniable aspect to that, because a lot of people who do comedy, actors, y'all have a dark past. Maybe not actors as much because y'all play pretend. But there's always something dark in comedians, and something, not always, but there is something that you're trying to do. And in LA in general, that is amplified because it attracts by nature people who are willing to do whatever for that validation and attention. And so being around that a lot of times, I don't vibe well with those kind of people. That's why, and it's funny because I was driving, getting a Red Robin last night for dinner, yum, with my girl. And we were, this person walking across the parking lot took so slow, I stopped so far ahead to let them cross. And instead of being like, I go in front of someone's car and they're driving and, I see that they stop for me. Just a little respect. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Bars. Go to wherever I'm going. And this person, not only do they take their time, they slow down as like a weird power move. They're just staring at me. And then they keep mean mugging me while I'm driving by them. And I'm like, does this motherfucker, and I'm looking at this person and I'm like, listen, there is a lot of people that could hold me down and do whatever they wanted to me. But there's a lot of people where I'm like, you don't know that there's people who can do that to you. And by the way, you just see a car driving, and you're just gonna mean mug them and be like, yo, I'm bad as fuck. That's fake. That's that weird ego shit of someone who just thinks they're way tougher than they are. The reason I vibe well with people in jiu-jitsu, some of my favorite people do jiu-jitsu, is because you're constantly in tune with reality. Of, oh shit, there's so many people on this planet that humble me. And when you get humbled like that on a regular basis, you're very easy to be around because you don't constantly need to try to establish yourself. You don't constantly need to try to validate your toughness because you know that no matter what, you're prepared for conflict and you have the, dude, this fucking static is fucking killing me right now. I'm sorry. I hope it's just in my headphones, but I have a feeling it's not. Listen, we're gonna have to deal with this static, and I'm sorry. I'm apologizing right now. We have a bunch of new equipment that I'm trying to set up to start doing more interactive shit on here, but it's just getting worse right now. Just getting worse. But I don't want to lose this thought. This is why I know I say it on here all the fucking time. Do jiu-jitsu. Do something. Jiu-jitsu is the best because you're able to go 100%, close to 100% in sparring and rolling and everything like that. In boxing, you can get kind of a little disillusioned to what you can actually do in reality. But I feel like jiu-jitsu is an equalizer. And in the sense, though, you could flip that. Listen, you could flip that and be like, well, there's no punching. And that's true. But, yeah. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of grappling versus stand-up right now, especially when I'm just trying to make a very loose point. I don't know why I spent so much fucking time on this one point about not vibing well with LA people. And the whole point I was trying to make is that I don't vibe well with them because it's a lot of make-believe, a lot of pretend. I don't like the idea of stars and it factor, I understand that there is some things about it factor and everything like that, but it's like, it is so gross to me when people tell me, I've known I was a star ever since I was a little kid. It's like, oh, really? You knew you were going to be a toxic diva since you were a little kid? You knew that? No, maybe your parents put that weird shit in you. That's another weird thing in LA. When you start seeing like child stars and parents who are vicariously living through their kid. That's like the weird thing is like when people they don't take chances and they don't do anything with their life. They like put it on their kids. Like their kid is going to be so successful and all this stuff. And then their kid is like their prized possession. Fucking weird. Fucking weird. How do we fix this, ladies and gentlemen? We got all this fucking static and everything. God, I am cursing way too much right now. I apologize, okay? I apologize for the cursing. But getting back to it, Texas. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be awesome. Your boy ate a lot of barbecue. Touchdown, went to Bone Daddy's. Went to Bone Daddy's. Great barbecue joint. Got some pork ribs. So good. Great seasoned French fries. Nice little salad. Listen, your boy has to have some greens too. Okay? Have to have some greens. Oh, here's what I wanted to talk about. What was interesting to me. Listen, your boy is a fly on the wall. I'm what you call an empath. I like to observe people and pick up on people's emotions. Going through LAX is unnerving. It is weird energies. The tension is crazy. People are weird. At one point, I took my mask down just to eat a little bit. People looking at you like you're fucking a Jehovah's Witness, you know, like you're a Mormon going door to door. Hello. Plane ride is weird. If you haven't flown during the pandemic, plane ride is weird. It's only a few hour flight, but it's weird for a few reasons. The reason that everybody's already tense when they fly, people are more tense. There's people who are, and I blame the news. I don't blame people for not being, I blame the news for a lot of things. There's a certain point where you have to take responsibility and be like, look, okay, this is fake. But I blame the news for a lot of people's fear, the fear mongering that goes on. So you see a lot of people who are deathly afraid of coronavirus. And then you put them in a plane with people who refuse to acknowledge it and to say it's fake and that they refuse to wear a mask because it imposes on their freedom. Well, don't fucking fly, okay? And don't make fucking stewardesses feel weird that they have to constantly keep telling you to put your mask on. Because I saw a lot of that on the plane. I was just like, dude, you are such an entitled fuck to just really care that much that you have to wear a mask on a plane for this private company that you're flying. I don't think flying is a right. When they wrote the Constitution, there was no fucking flying, okay? Use a different airline. But yeah, seeing that. But here's the difference. Once in Texas, it's not that you start forgetting about coronavirus because masks are mandated and everything. You just have to take your mask off or wear a mask when you go into places. You can eat in restaurants. I ate at a few restaurants. You take your mask off when you're sitting down. You're still like 12 feet away from the next table. No one is acting weird. That was a big difference is the vibes. People were like, oh yeah, we're wearing the mask. No one was really, over scared. No one was like wanting to make a statement without their mask. And granted, I'm sure there's a lot of pockets in Texas where they do make a big statement of not wearing the mask. But it wasn't the same kind of tension that is here in California. And I felt it once I got back too. And that's the thing, being at the Dallas airport, it felt different. But what was weird is like they were taking people's temperature at the airport going into Dallas. They didn't give a shit about people coming there. But once you were getting out or going on their plane, they were like, oh. But that was a big difference that I noticed. And I liked it. I liked how chill it was. And people were following the guidelines, but it wasn't this weird fear and panic. There's a lot more fear and panic here in California. And rightfully so. California's on fucking fire. A lot going on. And that portion of it makes me bummed out because I think about that leaving California. Your boy loves the mountains. I love Yosemite. I love a lot of the like Bass Lake up north, my favorite place to go camp. Great fishing. The ocean. I live at the beach. I love it. But it's just the laws, the taxes, everything. Not to get political, but it's gotten so out of hand, I feel. And I like Texas just for their tax laws and the way they do business and everything like that. I'm sure there's a flip side to it, but I like it. I like it, ladies and gentlemen. But what's more crazy, tomorrow is the election. Tomorrow's the election and possibly the beginning of the apocalypse. I don't know if you guys have chosen a side. This is the last time that if you want to be part of the Bone Skulls Club, as I call it. Those are people who eat bone and wings. You need to submit your application, okay? Because starting after the election, when the Civil War, when martial law happens and the Civil War begins, we'll be not taking any more applications from anybody who eats boneless wings. So, we're thinking about kind of changing the rules a little bit to where if you want to be in the bone-in club, but you have eaten boneless wings before, we can tell. We have a dog that sniffs it out that if you eat boneless wings. But we mainly can tell by your lack of muscle that you eat boneless wings, or just no spine. You kind of start seeing that with people who eat boneless wings, that they have a lot of back problems because they're spineless. You kind of need that bone. But we're going to create kind of systems that you can kind of join back in, where you have to eat. We're still figuring out the number, but like a 64-piece bone-in wing. But here's the catch: only the bone. There'll be no chicken attached because you've eaten enough boneless wings. So you got to make up for it by eating just the bones. 64-piece bone of a chicken wing. And once you do that, there'll be a 48-hour holding period where we see how you react to it. And if you make the cut, you make the cut, okay? And then once you're on the team, it's good, baby. You're a part of the team. But in all seriousness, if you couldn't tell, that was pretty serious. The election, it's happening tomorrow. I'm very curious. Hey, the static stopped. Let's not jinx it. That was weird, that just moving that a little bit. Anyway, the election tomorrow. And I'm hoping, listen, this is something that's real. It has gotten so toxic and so volatile. It's been my favorite word. Throughout this whole campaign, this whole year, the way that politicians played tiddlywinks with the emotions of the general public, of its citizens that it was sworn to work for, to politic for, playing tiddlywinks with their emotions and fear, the fear mongering, holding financial relief over their heads. It's been terrible. It's been terrible. And it's like, of course people are opportunistic. I don't think coronavirus was a pandemic that a lot of people actually believe. They think a lot of this was real. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you probably eat boneless wings. But the opportunistic people, and especially in politics, it's made people so divided. Good people. There's a lot of people on both sides that really feel like they're doing the Lord's work, that they are on a holy mission, that they really feel that either candidate is Satan and the other one is going to rescue us from Satan. Not even that, like, some of them think that, like, okay, it's Satan and Satan light, diet Satan. Like, they both know they're evil, but they're like, well, I kind of want the diet one because it's less calories. That's literally what it is. But it's like, I was looking, because listen, I've seen the social dilemma. I try not to stay on social media. I'm doing pretty good. I don't really do much on social media, but every now and then I get an ad from one of the main presidential candidates. And it's about funding and donations. And I'm like, this is disgusting that you millionaires are asking the general public for money that are going through what they're going through. You want to run a campaign? You know what I'd do? I'd be like, look, keep your own money. Let me show you how. I feel like if you just tried to help people, it would pay off so much more as publicity. But I was reading comments under, it was Biden's ad. And I was just reading the comments because I just love to see toxic shit. And some of the people were talking about how they were giving donations when they had no money. They're like, my family is struggling and we don't have enough food right now and we're not able to pay rent. But I've donated 3 times this month to the Biden campaign because we need this. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that is so bad. You're literally, if you're really doing that, you're putting all your resources, your eggs, your fucking family's eggs in someone else's basket, being like, all right, you're going to pay me back, right? Like, it's going to be better. On just a hope or an illusion of what you think that person is. You ever heard the quote, get your house in order? People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. People in poverty shouldn't give their money to millionaires. Like, how ass backwards is that? I feel like if you really wanted to do it, like, why not? I'm getting so hippy dippy. Why not the people campaigning actually give stuff to the people they want to vote to them? You want, like, why? Doesn't that seem crazy? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills that these politicians are getting money from people who don't have a lot of money, who are struggling, especially right now. And they keep asking, donate, donate, donate. I see these ads all day, every day. Like, aren't they supposed to be serving us, the citizens? Isn't that why they were elected? But instead, you're just fielding all these campaigns that they don't have to return that money. Listen, and they don't spend it. Campaigning is one of the greatest way to either raise your stock as a politician or just to raise funds. After it's all over, you get to keep that money, you know? Which is insanity. Insanity. But I feel like that's the move. Be like, okay, Biden, you want these people to vote for you? What was that one guy in Florida? He gave like, I think it was like a couple $100 million to campaign in Florida to Biden. Something insane. It's like, why wouldn't you turn around and create your own stimulus for those people there? Why don't you actually do a food drive? Buy something in bulk that can actually go there and you can distribute those who actually need it. Like, show them that you're actually trying to help them, rather than once you're in office, we're going to pass the biggest bill of all time, this relief bill, once I'm elected. It's insane. I saw a thing, I think it was Colorado, that they started doing their own stimulus checks for their people, for their citizens. And I thought that was beautiful, that they were, I think it was Colorado, that it was a small amount. It was like $300 or something like that. But it's like, that is a great gesture. Gesture. How come I can't speak? Is it gesture? Jester. Why does that sound so fucking weird? I'm sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. I feel like that would go a long way. Doing stuff like that, actually making people feel like, hey, we're really trying to take care of you, rather than politicians just playing tiddlywinks with emotions and turning everybody on each other. You know, that's what's insane. Is I watched all the debates. It's crazy to see how nothing was answered. We really got no answers at all out of anything with the debates. Anytime it was time to ask or explain what their plans they were gonna do about this issue. What are you gonna do at this point? All they were doing was mudslinging. They'd be like, oh, what is your plan for this? My opponent has blah, 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 blah. And it's just rebuttals, talking shit about the other. They're not even like denying it. They're just like, well, he did this. No, he did this. It's insane. And I'm over it. It is interesting what's going to happen, because I think the media is to blame for so much fear mongering. So many people, the news cycle, whether they hate Trump or not, in reality, they have made so much money during his presidency. There hasn't been anyone as polarizing in the sense of giving numbers to the media. Just with clickbait, people love to hate him and everything. And the news has made it so volatile. There goes my favorite word again. And it's just insane. It really is. Sorry, I'm just thinking about this idea right now. What happens after the election? Like, does the news cycle go back to a horse got out of the stable and ran across the freeway? What happens? Or do they have everybody tuned in for political reasons? Do we go further? Does it get worse? Do we keep trying to push divide? Because if you just look at the trend with all the, George Floyd and all these protests and everything going on, all the media did was stoke the flame. While they had your attention with one thing, they tried stoking it even more with others. If you saw The Social Dilemma, which I highly recommend if you haven't seen it, all the news cares about is you just staying in tune to that program. They don't give a shit if they're making you happy, they're making you sad, they're making you scared. They just want you to stay on that as long as possible. That's all they care about. And sadly, what works the best is fear. If you're happy, you're going to go out and do something. Spend time with friends. Call someone. I don't know. Rehash an ex-lover, Go kill your neighbor. I don't know, something. But if you're scared, you're going to stay tuned in to see what happens next. I have to know. There's possible danger. I need to be tuned in. Because I start seeing that even, the last couple days on news headlines about possible danger and violence at polling stations. Guns selling out everywhere. Preparing for civil war. An important thing that has to be done, and this is like, I know this is silly that I'm saying this, but this is like from this podcast going out to the next one, we should know who the president is, the next president. I know with mail-in ballots and everything like that, it's going to be a little bit longer, but we should have some kind of idea, right? It is important, no matter who wins, that everybody understands, this is so cliche, that we are all American. This is so stupid. I feel so stupid saying that right now. God, stupid, embarrassing bars. But it's true. Like we, no matter what political beliefs are, you can't really let the internet divide you. You have to be like I have tons of friends who have different political views. And do they get angry and weird sometimes? Yeah, but I still love them. And after everything's done, you'd be surprised, I think, that how many people you actually love and care about and think are great people have different views than you. And after, I think it's so important that we don't look at this as so divided. People here in America, even the people who are out doing crazy shit, they aren't the enemy. What really needs to stop is that's just like the side effect. What the real issue is who's educating these people. It goes all the way back to parents. Then it goes to actual educators in school. Giving people the tools to be able to distinguish between false and facts. And then common sense. Understanding the way the world works so they can't be duped by media and fear-mongering. That they can't look at ideology and be like, oh yeah, this is going to work. But then you got a flip side, they need to know the reality of it. I think if that's the case, when we can't look at these people that we think are the opposite side if they're just regular people that are trying to do the right thing. Go into civil war with them. What we need to go to civil war with is news stations, the media. They need to be held accountable for false. We need to create laws, and this is a slippery slope. Slippery slope. I don't know if it's even laws, but they should get fined whenever they post something that was false. I think that's a great start. Whenever they blatantly lie on television, whenever they twist something to push a narrative, they should be held accountable. Give them a fee, a fine, a huge fine. It's got to be enough to make them, not for them to lose their job, enough for them to second guess, I need to be the first one out with this news story. They need to second guess and go, we need to check if this is really the truth before we post this. And they need to be held accountable for that. People need to be held accountable for actions and their words in media if they're depicting it as truth. And remember, no matter what, ladies and gentlemen, when all this is over, we're all still going to be Americans, American bars. And this is still the greatest country of all time. And everybody else in the world hate us because they ain't us. Okay? Hate us because they ain't us. And remember, we're going to be back with fixed audio on Wednesday after the election. And we're going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about it. If we're all here, Russia doesn't drop a nuke on us during the election, probably not a bad move. But remember, no matter what, ladies and gentlemen, I love you.